You might have seen John Duggan in the corner there. John, good morning to you. Come on down.
Lads, it's only Wednesday morning.
No. You got to celebrate the victories as they come. What a sensational opening day.
I'll be celebrating on Friday night, guys, if I'm over 2,000 for my charity bets. So I'm very much feet on the moon at the moment. So I need to get back into the boogie and get back into the lunar module. And once I get back, I'll be okay.
You won $1,000 yesterday in the charity bank, so you're already halfway to your targets, and there's one day down. You have 3 more to go. So I mean, you're going to do this, John.
I hope so, Ger. I've got the fingers crossed. But I really just I'm focusing on the process. I'm focusing on the next race.
Not getting carried away. One race at a time.
No.
Okay, well, let's look back briefly at yesterday. You had a winner at long odds in the first race, and then your big bet came home as well. So that was pretty good. And then it's nice to have one to end the day as well, just to bookend things.
It was nice, Jerry. Yeah, Somerville Boy won the first race at 9-1, and the reason why I picked him on the ground, he stayed on this heavy ground, and I think he jumped pretty abysmally for a couple of times, but under Noel Feely, but he jumped really well on the ground. And I felt that he would stay on the hill, and he did stay up the hill. I thought Footpad was an absolute banker yesterday. Now, Ruby Walsh rode a great race in terms of the way he didn't go off too fast. He picked off Petit Mouchoir and San Calvados, and then he won the race quite comfortably. And then Rathavinden under Patrick Mullins, who had a lot of good form earlier in the season. He was second in the Drinmore chase behind Death Duty, so I thought he had a good chance if he stayed the trip, and luckily he did. So yeah, it's good when they come through, but I think it wasn't a bad day for the punters, actually, apart from Apple's Jade, who was beaten in the Mares Hurdle. The longest price winner was the Somerville Boy at 9-1, and we of course saw Bouverdere win the Champion Hurdle. Probably closer than people would have expected with Mellon running such a great race, but Bouverdere prevailing by a neck to become the first Champion Hurdle dual winner in 13 years. So Barry Geraghty, I think always probably had enough in the tank, but just about. But it just shows how good Willies are running at the moment. He had 3 winners. Mellon was back from 14s to 7s and nearly won the Champion Hurdle. And I think Willies are going to do well this week.
Are you ever a little bit worried, John, when you see Somerville Boy drift out to 9-1 or any horse drift a tad? Because I think I got him at 7-1 after your tip yesterday, and then, as you say, starting price was 9-1.
Not at all, Owen. At Cheltenham, I think there's just so much money in the market, and I think that what happens a lot of the time is that odds can be sometimes shorter in the morning, and then bookies, it's so competitive. It's the one meeting of the year when the punters actually might have a bit of an edge in terms of the prices, because the bookies are trying to attract new business, and if a horse goes a couple of points out in the betting, it's not necessarily representative of his chance. Now, if it was a horse that might be attached to a yard that likes a punt, and it was drifting significantly on a Wednesday in a normal race meeting, you might be a little bit more skeptical. But I think at Cheltenham, I've seen in the past big money come for horses and only move a point or two. So I don't think I think the best backed horse yesterday was Footpad, in from 11 to 10 to 10 to 11, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but at that price, that is a lot of money, that move Footpad. And I actually we saw Faugheen backed, but that didn't work out. We're seeing a little bit of money for Douvan, which is very interesting in the Champion Chase today. That's the 1/2-3, and Altior drifting slightly. So we will see significant gambles like Mellon yesterday, and that was a significant gamble. But if a horse drifts, I wouldn't be too worried about it at Cheltenham, especially if, for example, Gigginstown horses, they're not known as a gambling. Michael Leary doesn't bet, so just because a Gigginstown horse is 33-1 doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance.
So obviously we're going to keep a very close eye on the price movements across the day, and our brand new daily show is going out at 12:30 today as well, and so John's going to be back from the course with any of the updates on that. Let's get to some of the stuff today for some of the tips that you're looking at today. Maybe before we do that, actually, we can get your take on what is going to happen in this clash of the Titans today that we've really been looking forward to. It's Douvan against Altior. We've kind of been hoping that this would happen for a long time, and it feels like, until they're under starters' orders, something might go wrong to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, it's been a strange one, Ger. Douvan, I never expected him to come here at all. I thought that his season was over when he got injured again in the autumn, and I didn't expect it to happen. And then Altior a couple of days ago was declared lame, but that was just it sounds worse than it is. It was just really a case of the horse had just a small problem in his foot, and they cleared that up pretty quickly. The issue with Altior was that he had he didn't. He's never been beaten, but his probably most unimpressive run was in the Arkle Chase here last year, and he won, but he wasn't. He was workmanlike rather than devastating, and he's only run once since in Newbury, and he won well. But it's really about Douvan. Is Douvan going to turn up after a year off the track, after being the best horse in training? This is a horse that hammered sizing John, a Gold Cup winner over novice hurdles, novice chases, won the Supreme Novices Hurdle, won the Arkle Chase, never was in a fight as a horse. And now we're seeing him running for the first time since last year's festival, when he was injured, when he fractured his pelvis. And I can't believe that Willie Mullins and Ruby Walsh and the connections, Rich Ritchie, will be sending Douvan here if they didn't feel the horse was right or ready to do himself justice. And I also think it's different from when Faheen ran yesterday. Now, Faheen is 10 now, probably lacks a bit of speed, whereas Douvan, I think, is still a ripe age to perform if he's back at his best. The lack of a prep runner is a worry, but I think that Douvan is really going to put it up to Altior today, and I think he's got a better chance than the stablemate Min.
All right, well, let's talk about your actual tips. Unless, are you picking a winner in that race?
I've gone for the Miracle Jar. Horse water into wine. I think Douvan will do it. Okay, all right. So Douvan, it will be a remarkable story if Douvan manages to do that. What else have you got for us today, John? I think the banker, Ger, and this is not very original. I know Kevin Kilban has got his life savings on it. But Samcro in the first, this Ballymore Novices Hurdle, I think he's an absolute certainty. I know that people are going, he hasn't come over here before, he doesn't know what like Cheltenham's like, but Gordon Elliott is a master of preparing horses. And he had Samcro brought over here before. The horse has seen Cheltenham before. He's come over here, and I don't know what prep work was done, but he's definitely been over here for a visit. He's won all his races in brilliant fashion. Hasn't been off the bridle. Has just got that turn of foot that we all love to see in a racehorse. That we saw the likes of Isterbach back in the day. And I think that he's also won a point in desperate ground over 3 miles, and he showed a resolution when he won his point to point. So I think you can't argue about his resolution, that he'll handle the ground. I think he'll get the trip, and I think he's an absolute banker. And I'd be disappointed if Samcro doesn't win the way we hope he'll win, because I think it would be a bit of a deflating situation, but I think he's the banker. Now, you're not going to make, unless you're a Euro Millions winner, you're not going to make a lot of money out of it, but I think he's going to win. All right, so odds on at the moment. You've already told us you think Douvan is going to win at 3:30. Your other tips today, I think Monalee is your next big shout, around about 7-2 at the moment. Yeah, I've got 3 winners, Ger, 3 win bets, and the strategy today is 3 win bets and 4 each way bets. So Monalee is the 3rd win bet. He's in the 3 mile Sun Alliance Chase. Henry de Bromhead, I think, is very happy with this horse. He was 2nd at the festival last year. He's won over 3 miles in heavy ground. He's a Grade 1 winner. He won a very good race at the Dublin Racing Festival in Leopardstown when he was coming back after a fall. So I think he'll actually improve for that. He's an excellent jumper. You have to jump well around here. Noel Feely's a very good pilot. Of course, it's a very competitive race. You got Presenting Percy in there, who's had an unusual preparation, but pushed Arduke all the way the last time. He's a very talented horse, but I think he might prefer better ground, and he has not won a Grade 1. You've Elegant Escape, you've got Dunicos, you've got Album Photo. It's a very competitive race. But I do think Monalee is a horse. I do think Henry de Bromhead fancies him, and I think he might just do it in the race, but I'm not that confident about it. I'm not that confident about Douvan. I found today a harder day to study than yesterday. It's not as easy today. That's why I think Samcro, that's why I've gone for Samcro as the banker. I think Douvan and Monalee are my win bets in those races, and then I've gone for 4 each ways. Okay, so let's just go through the each ways really quickly. Fixe Le Cap at around about 14-1. They're the odds we all like. Yeah, you'd be buying a few caps if it wins. I've heard that this horse is working very well at home, and Nicky Henderson's had the winner of this race a couple of times. I remember he had Whisper, and he had a horse of Michael Buckley's. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but Fixe Le Cap will love the ground. I think he might be better than his rating suggests, and I think he's got a good each way chance. Okay, then Auvergnat. My French pronunciation. Go to France, Ger. Holidays in France, Ger. So Auvergnat. Auvergnat, well, the king of the banks in terms of these strange cross-country races is Ender Bulger from Limerick, and this is one of the horses that is a younger horse in the race. He won a Punchestown last time. Okay, he wasn't in the frame last year in this race. I think he was 4th, but he might prefer the softer ground, and if there's an improver in the race, and then the Bulger's great at these horses, I think the improver might be Auvergnat, and that's why I've gone from as this tentative each way selection. It's a very trappy race.
Grand, he's about 8-1, and then the King of May at 10-1. That this is the 10-5 race this evening.
This is the Fred Winter hurdle, which is once again a very difficult puzzle to work out. But Brian Ellison, the trainer, has never had a festival winner. He had a third in the race last year, Nietzsche. He's been targeting this race for years. Every time I see this race, I see a Brian Ellison runner. And I think that this horse is rated as a better prospect than Nietzsche last year. And I think he might be a little bit ahead of the handicapper. And he has been backed accordingly. And I think at 10-1, he might be worth it each way interest.
All right. And then the final race today, hopefully.
The bumper.
Yeah, hopefully to put a bit of a gloss on another great day. It's Carefully Selected at 10-1.
Well, excuse the pun. This horse was trained as a pointer by Ted Walsh. Now, Ruby rides today. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. But I met Willie Mullins after Benny Juju won yesterday. I said, what about Blackbow? What about Blackbow with this favourite for the bumper tomorrow? And he goes, yeah, well, Blackbow sets the standard on his win at Leopardstown, but I wouldn't put you off an each way bet on my other two, Carefully Selected and Tornado Flyer. I like the fact that Carefully Selected won over further at Leopardstown. He loved the ground. He looks like to me like a galloper and a stayer. And I definitely think he can make the frame. I would not put anybody off the Felix de G for Gordon Elliott. It's rarely rare for Gigginstown to have a runner in the bumper. So I do think he's got an each way chance. But I've gone for Carefully Selected each way at 10-1 as my selection for Ruby. Just because Willie has a favourite in it doesn't mean one of the other ones can't win. We've seen with Briar Hill, we saw it with Joe Cullen in previous years. Just because Willie has a few in the race doesn't mean that the favourite is the one that they all want to be on.
Just before we let you go, John, my tactic yesterday was to take your tips and see if Ruby Walsh tipped any of the same horses at an each way price. It happened on one occasion. It was Rathfinden. It won the race. Ruby Walsh has one common horse with you today. It is Carefully Selected in the champion bumper at 5.5 as part of an each way double that he has. I think if I go with an each way single, I'm sitting quite pretty this evening, John. So thank you for that. Absolute dead cert.
Oh, and we'll see you in an away Kerry jersey that you'll buy off the back of that the next time we see you if that wins.
I'm going to shop from Marks and Spencer for a week.
Hey. On that note, John, great stuff. We'll talk to you a little bit later. We'll let you go and enjoy the sights and sounds at Prestbury Park this morning. That's John Duggan with us, and he'll be back again at 12:30 a little bit later on to give us the very latest shouts just before the action starts at 1:30. So if you missed all that, don't worry about it. The tips are up on the website offthewall.com, and John will rejoin us for our live Cheltenham show, hosted by Owen at around about 12:30 a little bit later on.